this is live on Patreon, so maybe you can come on in on this live. I finally learned how to do live on Patreon. So if you're on Patreon, come on in. I can read the chats right here and see your shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna try to do this every day. That's why I say some of this shit I gotta put on Patreon, you know, or some shit like that, because it's too deep. This shit is too deep for me to be putting on regular shit, because the Illuminati gonna get me, y'all. The lying son of a bitch. This dude, every time he's a good lawyer. Every time he get caught up in something, he try to cover it up. Well, he didn't actually mention that. He mentioned it in a different content. Well, he didn't actually do that. He meant to do this. Well, he didn't actually meant to say that. He meant to say this.
The podcast or his slogan or whatever. But here's the question I want to ask you. Let's just start with basics. Do you accept that Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election?
Look how he sound. He sound like one of them Christians. Do you accept the Lord Jesus as your Savior in Christ? Like, yes, fool. I accept him. No, I don't. But it's different with Joe Biden. But yes, he's trying to make it sound like, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to make it sound like it's Christianity or something. Do you accept the Lord in Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior? What? Why would you ask me some shit like that? I'm not finna commit to this motherfucking cult you talking about. This is a cult. You commit to. And what's the next question? Do you accept do you accept Joe Biden to be your Lord and Savior? What, nigga? Don't come at me like that.
Except that Joe Biden is the president. Now, there's a difference in whether or not fraud existed and whether or not there's an adequate remedy. And I think also a number of those cases were kicked on remedies.
No court has said that fraud existed, and so there's no remedy because there's no violation, Mr. Gaetz.
And I can't talk about fraud right now because fraud is not accepted on here. You can't talk about the votes and what did and what did not happen, because they will ban your shit. Even if it's on Patreon, they will ban my shit. YouTube is scandalous like that.
But you cannot.
There's no violation. There's no fraud.
That there was no fraud if they didn't take up the question and review the facts on jurisdiction or remedy.
You know what? That might work on Steve Bannon's podcast, but that's not going to work in the Rules Committee of the United States.
You see how Matt Gaetz is kicking fat? Let me rewind the case. The only thing y'all have to talk about, the only thing y'all can use power on, you use this shit and the Trump juice as talking points, right? Because you can always use this as a way to pass laws as far as security, policing, investigations, add justice, all kind of shit, right? With this one, with the other shit, with the Trump juice, you can add power over shit, mandates, employment, freedom, all kind of shit. So you're taking control over these different things with different talking points. They don't have nothing to do with the investigation, and the shit ain't as serious as you say it is. But if you got these talking points, right, you can make it seem it's serious enough so you can keep your little investigations going, so you can keep your little taxes going, so you can keep your trying to raise money going, and all that. Mayor Giuliani.
You don't want to know. So Mr. Gaetz, let me ask you a serious question.
The stenographer is trying to take people's words down, and she can't if everybody talks over each other. So
our apologies.
Motherfucker shouting, man, shut up.
We're going to do it civilly, like two lawyers. Okay, Mr. Gaetz, let me ask you this.
Now watch Mr. Gaetz, Matt Gaetz. Let this dude conversate or get a whole question off without interrupting. As soon as Matt Gaetz gets to talking, guess what? The interruptions start.
I believe that people have the right to allow the legal process to resolve.
But you know how that works, Mr. Gaetz. You're a lawyer. You know how that works. You show up. Wait a second, Mr. Gaetz. Wait, hold on. Let's try to educate the public here,
please,
because people need to know. If you're subpoenaed, you go. If you think you have a privilege, for example, let's say Steve Bannon says, you know what? I'm guilty as hell. I don't want to testify against myself. In America, you don't have to. The Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination says, I plead the Fifth. I might incriminate myself, but you know what? You got to go. And you got to answer each specific question. Some of them might implicate your Fifth Amendment rights, and some of them might not. Even if he thinks he's got, in some surreal parallel universe, you
see Matt Gaetz haven't cut him off once. Pay attention. Matt Gaetz and this dude not even giving a legal fact. He giving an example. Still, Matt Gaetz haven't cut him off once.
Presidential executive privilege, even though he didn't even work for the White House at that point. He'd been fired by Donald Trump in August of 2017. This is in January of 2021 and December of 2020.
Now he's going on character and shit ain't got nothing to do with the 6, right? He going on a whole background shit. Matt Gaetz is letting him.
20. But even if he thought that, he's got to come before the committee and he has to plead it. Do you not agree with that?
Now, see, he let him talk and he asked him a question. Now he finna let him answer and then cut him off.
I think that.
No, honestly, did you not agree with that?
Mr.
Yes.
Raskin, I allowed you to speak and I didn't interrupt you. I hope I'm given the same opportunity.
Just give me the honest answer.
The honest answer is that the McGahn litigation that you and I both follow closely as members of the Judiciary Committee actually is the path forward. McGahn didn't have to show up to assert that he was waiting for legal.
The president asserted executive privilege on his behalf.
Now you're the one giving challenges to the stenographer. So, yeah,
no, I'm telling you, wait a second. I'm going to elaborate on your answer.
No, but I haven't even.
He haven't even given the answer yet.
Given my full answer yet.
I haven't given my answer, but I'm going to give it for you.
It's not how it works in the Rules Committee, Mr. Gaetz. Just follow this then.
Well, wait,
the president.
do I get to respond to these?
Mr. Gaetz, I'm going to give you the chance to respond.
Well,
It sounds like President Trump asserted executive privilege. President Trump asserted executive privilege for McGahn. President Biden has not asserted.
I believe there is.
Has not asserted executive privilege.
President Trump has initiated litigation. Look, the reason you all waited on McGahn is because the Russia hoax wasn't going well for you. And the reason you're not waiting now is because you have no other legislation or other solutions for the country.
All right,
that's why
Mr. Jordan, let me switch
you
gears.
had the McGahn playbook, but you ditched it because you guys need January 6th so bad.
It's going down.
And I think what's most notable here is not so much what happened on the floor of the House, but that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Liz Cheney really represent the two doors for the Republican Party right now.
Today, Madam Speaker, we are.
And this is your girl, Liz Cheney, right? Liz Cheney. We don't follow Liz Cheney because her views don't reflect our views, right? Her the way she disassociate with Donald Trump and associate with liberals is not the way some conservatives or most conservatives want, or Republicans or our representatives to represent us. You're representing us in the wrong way, and it's being shown in the fucking polls.
We're here to address
some threatening insurrection shit.
Madam Speaker, there are people in this chamber right now who were evacuated with me and with the rest of us on that day during that attack. People who now seem to have forgotten the danger of the moment, the assault on the Constitution, the assault on our Congress.
What assault on the Constitution? What assault on Congress? It wasn't an assault on Congress. Nobody got fucking hurt. Congress been gone on the underground tunnel and all kind of shit on the other side of the Capitol building. They've been gone. It wasn't no assault on no Congress. The Congress came right back up in there 30 minutes later and got their vote on. Doing a so-called a couple hours later and got their vote on. Wasn't shook up or nothing. 30 minutes later.
When it was so clear that he had worked to collude and expected help from Russia, this is what he did with the first impeachment. And Jim,
see what I'm saying? That's what he done with the first impeachment. No, it's not what he done with the first impeachment. Stop lying. It's crazy how, especially on the Jim Acosta show, because he ain't got no raising. It's funny how even when Dr. Gunther got exploited on the Joe Rogan show, it's funny how the Democrats and just go on these channels and blatantly lie, and none of these reporters or newscasters, whatever the fuck you want to call them, actually call them out on it. They never call no Democrat out on it. They let them come on here and lie about Russian collusion and this and that and spread conspiracy theories and shit like that. Never call them out on that. Soon as somebody conservative come on there, they want to argue and over talk them and cut them off and don't let them talk and don't let them prove a point and don't let them bring up no facts, but just cut them off. But let Democrats like this get on here and just lie.
the Republican Party led by Donald Trump and Kevin McCarthy, they don't believe in voting anymore. They believe in violence. And right now they are setting the stage with what they're encouraging in Arizona and Florida and Georgia and Texas with the voting rights changes. They're an anti-voter party. They're an anti-majority party.
Anti-voter party and Donald Trump and Kevin McCarthy is promoting violence. How? Donald Trump Twitter is down. Donald Trump Facebook is down. Donald Trump ain't holding no rallies talking about go out and do no shit. I'm pretty sure ain't nobody since the so-called incident in January, ain't been nobody heard, ain't been no rallies, or ain't been no assaults or anything on no Catholics heroes last year. None of that shit really count. They still want to talk about January 6th. All the other things happening in the motherfucking world, right? They still want to talk about some shit that nobody's really worried about again. Shit already happened. We're worried about 2022 and 2024. We're not worried about that. Everybody done moved on. Fuck it, it happened. Whatever happened, it happened. If something happened and it just so happened that shit is overturned, so be it. But we're not focused on that. Everybody is saying 2024 run again and shit like that. That means we're not worried about 2020. We're more focused on 2024. You don't see nobody holding no Trump 2021 flags or no Trump 22 flags. It's Trump 2024. Whatever happened, happened. We got to focus on the future. You motherfuckers want to focus on the past because you won't have some kind of talking point going into next year in 2024 about Donald Trump done this or Donald Trump done that. Y'all can't have a race in California or Virginia or anywhere without saying the person that's running is a Donald Trump wannabe. All his policies relate to Donald Trump. He's a Trump supporter. Y'all don't want to talk on policies about nothing. They don't show none of that.
All right. On the other hand, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But hold on. Nobody blows things up like Republican Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But hold on.
That is somebody with whom many Republicans are siding.
She's a traitor.
Yeah.
How can you say that?
Now he walking away, right? She's walking away. He's stalking her. She's not trying to have a conversation. You walking away and asking her, she's giving you simple answers. She's not giving you no definition. You know why she think Liz Taylor's a traitor. But look how this dude right here, and we know that's just a term, right? But look how this dude twists the word traitor on Liz Taylor and make it seem like she's talking about some kind of cult shit about assassinations and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? About killing people and assaulting people and shit like that. When she's like, she's a traitor, right? Not a traitor in that sense. A traitor is as a adjective used to describe the way a person is acting, not who the person is.
Trump was president, he talked about what we should do with traitors. When the whistleblower complaint came out, he talked about that we used to handle traitors the old-fashioned way. Again, when you define Liz Cheney as a traitor, all you're going to do now is you're going to aim venom and violence at Liz Cheney. But that's the intent. That's what they want. That's why they do it, Jim. And that's why it's all the more important that we get to the bottom of what happened on January 6th, that we make sure a day like that never happens again. And the Senate, and I hope the president is listening because I think he's the most persuasive person here, they have to break the filibuster to make sure that we have voting rights restored once again in this country.
Restored? When was it? When was it taken away? Right? Long as you can trick the masses and have them believe that you're really fighting for them, you can always have the popular vote. But, you know, so that's not how it's supposed to win. We always had electoral college vote.
The rationale behind your vote?
The rationale behind my vote is I'm not self-absorbed like the rest of these jerks here in Congress.
I have some sources on the Democrat side of the aisle, and they've started to realize that they have made a very grave mistake regarding my colleague. They now wish that they put her on every committee so that they would keep her busy, because Marjorie will show up to a committee and state her case and make the argument and call people to account. She'll go out and do the interviews that animate the American people around these ideas. So, Marjorie, if Nancy Pelosi came to you and begged you to go back on the Education and Labor Committee, would you do it?
Hell no. Period.
Because she's free to do what she want to do without being restrained to any particular group or any particular department or anything, right? She knows if she's not assigned to nothing, she's still in Congress, and y'all ain't selected her to no committee. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger things going on than that shit. We don't care about that shit. America don't care about that shit. Democrats care about that shit. America don't. We care about shit that's happening right now, that's affecting us right now, not no shit that's happening a couple of years, last year, and might happen again. And you know, and the United States should be smart enough on. They don't need to know why it happened, on how to defend themselves. They just need to know how to defend themselves. I don't know no war in the United States history, right? That the United States went back and say, you know what? We're going to find out why we went to that war, and how we going to make that. How we going to let that not happen again? You never know how this shit going to happen. You don't know if this is going to happen or not. Just understand, you got to protect yourself, right? If somebody broke in my motherfucking house, I'm not fit to go and understand and go out and ask robbers and motherfuckers who smoke crack and motherfuckers who break in houses why people break in houses. I'm going to give me a guard dog, a security system, probably a gun. I'm going to get everything I need to do to protect myself and my family just in case these motherfuckers come back. I'm not going to go out and investigate, you know what I'm saying, why the shit happened. Motherfuckers on drugs. Motherfuckers need money.
There are new threats and brutal verbal abuse directed at a Democratic lawmaker.
A Democratic lawmaker. What about a Republican lawmaker, right? It's threats on Democratic lawmakers, but there's no threats on Republican lawmakers that's taken seriously, right? They're talking about it's threats on Eric Swalwell, right? Starwells, whatever the fuck his name is, but there's no threats on anybody else that's Republican that's credible.
I'd like to yield the first 2 minutes to my colleague from Florida, Representative Gaetz.
Without objection.
I thank the gentleman for yielding because I think someone may be trying to kill me. And if they are successful, I would like my constituents and my family to know who stopped their arrest.
Huh? Somebody's trying to kill me. Matt Gaetz, somebody, look, I've been doing this shit. I've been supporting Trump for years.
Congressman Eric Swalwell shared on Twitter a voicemail he received last night filled with so many profanities and slurs, 26 by our count, that we can't play it for you, at least not here.
But I'm going to play it for him. You can't play it for him, bitch, but I can. I'm going to play it for him right damn now. All these damn lies.
And you recently shared a voicemail that a Trump supporter left for you after watching Fox News. I want to play just a portion of that for our viewers.
Fox News.
You people,
they make it seem like Fox News is some drugs or something. Like, yo, somebody watched Fox News and they sent you this hate mail, right? Somebody was on that Fox News. You know, somebody was doing that Fox News and they called and threatened the fuck out of you. Man, somebody was doing that Fox News and went out there and massacred a whole motherfucking elementary school. Man, don't do that Fox News. That Fox News is dangerous. They making Fox News sound like it's a motherfucking drug.
Are a disgrace to God, our country, and our people. You're the enemies of the United States people. You atheist communists are the threat to our democracy, our Constitution, and our way of life. And I hope these foreign invaders you're letting in this country, I hope they chop you and your family up and feed them to their dogs, you pig. You and there's your free speech for today. From Trump Nation. Write it down, you little Trump Nation, baby.
Trump Nation, baby. I mean, it's people who actually think like that on both sides. Right? And people who threaten you got people from the Democratic side and liberal side that's following people into. Which one is more dangerous? Doxing people and all kind of shit?
Now, some of the expletives bleeped out the N-word as well as homophobic slurs.
Wait a minute. What N-word did he call Swalwell? And what part of the conversation was somebody that's a Trump supporter? This is like a Jesse Smollett phone call. Why the fuck would this supposedly white supremacist call another supposedly white person a nigga? Or why would it be in a good conversation? He's going to say nigga and for the, hold on, let me get this out of the way so this conversation really be racist. Nigga. I'm just gonna say, I'm not calling you a nigga. I'm not saying I hate niggas. I'm just gonna say nigga to make this phone call really racist. It's got every fucking thing, right? You supposed to got money trail. Why is it taking this long for them to convict Matt Gaetz of child trafficking or sex trafficking or whatever the fuck they're trying to charge them with? Why is it taking so long? It's been going on damn near a year right now, right? But he haven't been charged yet. Something is wrong.
He denies all allegations. But the Justice Department did make some news here, hiring 2 brand new prosecutors who specialize in child exploitation and public corruption to work on this very case.
Now, Justice Department adds 2 prosecutors to Matt Gaetz' case. Now, guess what, prosecutors? You know these prosecutors are liberals, right? The case ain't going fast enough. They don't have enough evidence on Matt Gaetz. So guess what they do? They hired 2 more liberal prosecutors to investigate the Matt Gaetz case, right? This is just like the January 6th shit, right? It's not no bipartisan shit. They hired 1 and 1 public corruption investigators with an expertise in child exploitation crimes, right? Why you gotta hire experts? I mean, they don't have enough evidence where they can charge him and pictures and all this sort of shit, right? You gotta hire 2 more motherfucking investigators. Wow. What kind of shit is that?
Is the case near the end or in the middle? What does it all mean?
Well, there's no question that adding these prosecutors means the case is growing. What we've heard is the prosecutors they're adding are seasoned prosecutors on public corruption and sex crimes.
Seasoned prosecutors. Well, look. Well, why he go to jail for the first sex crimes first, right? Why you gotta get some motherfucking experts on exploitations, right? Shouldn't they be testifying in court? Right? You got the witnesses.
The investigations and threat assessment section of the Protective Services Bureau, and specifically George DeCesso. And George shared with me that the Capitol Police recommended the arrest of this individual and that the Department of Justice refused to do so.
And why did they refuse to do so? Huh? Why in the fuck did they refuse to do so? They ain't doing their job. Right? He has a credible threat.
And on the eve of the Attorney General testifying before the Judiciary Committee tomorrow, it is just yet another example of the Department of Justice having a double standard.
Double standard. Swalwell is compromised, not by this China, but also by the motherfucking FBI. Swalwell is compromised.
Oversees the intel agency, and they do it through a committee in the House and a committee in the Senate, the intelligence committees. But take a close look at who sits on those committees. In the House Intelligence Committee has a man called Eric Swalwell. He's a member of Congress from the Bay Area, who we know has had sex with a Chinese spy called Fang Fang.
Fang Fang! He fucking Fang Fang. Right? He fucking Fang Fang, so he's compromised. But he's talking about Tucker Carlson is spreading lies about him. Tucker Carlson is threatening his life, and the people who support Tucker Carlson is calling him on the phone and sending threatening messages and stuff like that because he's exposing and bringing up Fang Fang and how he shouldn't be on the fucking selective committee or whatever the hell that is. How he shouldn't be on select committees and stuff like that. How was he compromised by the FBI and by Fang Fang, but his ass get to sit on committees? Do that even make sense? Do that make sense? No, it don't.
And yet he remains on the Intel Committee. Does that shake your faith a little bit?
It should.
And what is so frustrating about this, Nicole, is that I have personally, eyeball to eyeball, asked Tucker Carlson not to lie about me on a show because of this effect.
Swalwell, you remember, had a long-time sexual...
Don't lie on me on the show. What did he lie about? It's easy for you to go on the show and say somebody lied about you, right? Did he lie about you fucking Fang Fang? Did he lie about that?
Asked me to come on his show. I told him I'm not doing that anymore because when you lie about me on your show, your viewers follow up from those lies and they
follow up from the lies. How you gonna follow up from a lie and get mad at the motherfucker for telling you a lie? Evidently, if they followed up on it, it's some authenticity to it. You know what I'm saying? They're not just gonna follow up on some shit and get mad over some shit that's false. That don't make no sense. Now do it. What kind of fucking sense that make? Oh, I followed up this shit. I found it's a lie, and now I'm mad. Well, he ought to be more mad at the motherfucker that told him to lie. Right? I'd be more mad at the motherfucker that told me to lie. Nigga, you lied to me.